Now on CoastTV News.
Memorial Day weekend on the coast.
But this next few months means a lot.
What businesses expect this weekend and what locals plan to do. Puzzling pavement markings.
I was concerned that it would cause confusion.
The Georgetown Sur pavement could be seeing some changes. Memorial moments.
We want to honor them for the sacrifice that they made.
Two powerful ceremonies across Sussex County are set to honor those who gave everything.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
A record-breaking travel weekend. Good evening, I'm Brandon Ferguson. Welcome to CoastTV News at 11. We begin tonight with Memorial Day weekend travel. TSA expected to screen 18 million passengers. This weekend, Americans are jamming the roads and packing the nation's airports in anticipated record-breaking numbers. Aaron McLaughlin shows us the holiday rush.
More than 45 million people, an all-time record, are expected to travel 50 miles or more this holiday weekend, according to AAA.
It's just awful. 4 accidents already that I passed today.
What's happening out there?
I don't know. Bumper to bumper. It's very scary stuff.
Despite the rainy roads and chillier than average temps in the Northeast.
It is 53 degrees and raining at the end of May. I didn't want to see this jacket again until December.
With TSA expecting to screen 18 million passengers around the holiday, all eyes on the troubled Newark airport after a recent series of disturbing communication outages. United Airlines today reported immediate improvement in arrival delays after the FAA cut back the number of flights per hour. In Dallas, long lines greeted passengers this morning, some delayed by a suspicious item that brought out the bomb squad. On top of the rush at the nation's largest airports,
I made it with like 5 minutes to spare to get on the plane, yeah. So I was rushing and it was ridiculous.
New requirements for travels, though TSA says the Real ID rollout has been successful.
93% of passengers are presenting a real ID or another acceptable form of ID. And if you don't have one, encourage you just to come a little early because we're giving extra screening.
The record number of travelers, including me. On my way from New York City to New Jersey, and it's bumper to bumper. This Memorial Day weekend, nearly 9 out of 10 travelers are driving. 39.4 million in total, a million more than last year. Helping move the drivers along, gas prices at $3.20 a gallon on average, well below this time last year. And for folks out west, stunning cliffside views just in time for Memorial Day. The famed Pacific Coast Highway now open, months after the devastating fires.
Memorial Day weekend marks the unofficial start to the summer here on the coast. Every year, people flock to feel the sand between their toes and hear the waves crashing in their ears. As CoastTV News reporter Emma Aiken shows us, businesses and visitors are ready to kick off the season.
The sun rising over the Atlantic Ocean. That beauty is one of the many reasons visitors go to Rehoboth Beach every summer, usually starting right around Memorial Day weekend. Shandy Ruffner is one of those visitors excited to kick off her summer on the coast.
This weekend we're going to have some good food hopefully, and looking for a good place to have some crabs. We're going to maybe go out on a friend's boat to Saturday, tomorrow, and then do some shopping, walking around to the local shops and see what they have.
And for her, that first stop was at Coffee Mill, a longtime Rehoboth Beach business. Co-owner Mel Damascena says his business needs summer a latte.
Well, this next few months means a lot, that not just for us, but for everybody. This is the time that we are here, that we gotta make it.
Last year, CoastTV reported that there was actually a downward trend of people flocking here to Rehoboth Beach, with the lowest number of hotel room bookings in more than a decade. But Damascena feels like it gets busier every year.
Even when it's raining, they come in for coffee. Coffee is good any day of the week. And they go shopping, they go to the boutiques, they find something to do, they go to restaurants. So, and the business in town need that because the off-season is long.
While the boardwalk was just beginning to wake up here and the beach was still quiet, those scenes will look very different over the next few days. In Rehoboth Beach, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
We're now going to take a live look into Ocean City and bring in our first alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams for a look at our Memorial Day weekend forecast. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening to you, Brandon. Now, earlier this evening when we were talking during the 5 and 6 o'clock newscast, we knew that it was staying a bit cloudy then, but it would clear out, and that's already happening for us at this time. Your Memorial Day weekend outlook for Saturday, we're expecting 70 degrees, mostly sunny skies, but it's going to be breezy because we're looking at winds at about 25 to even 40 miles per hour on some of the beaches. So very breezy, so you're going to need your long sleeves for Saturday. Sunday, not so rainy, actually. Sunny skies, a few afternoon, evening clouds, but we're still not expecting any rain, 72 degrees. Monday, even better, partly cloudy skies up to 73 degrees, and the winds should totally die down by then. So enjoy your holiday weekend, Brandon.
We'll try to, Paul, here. And DART Services has released their Memorial Day changes. The agency says in Sussex County, beach bus services and Route 305 will be running. Paratransit will also provide ADA-only service. All other DART services will not operate. Memorial Day weekend is here, and while many are ready to stick their umbrellas in the sand and lay out on the beach, local organizations like American Legion Post 17 are making sure they honor our fallen soldiers, those known and unknown. Today, they're honoring them on a National Poppy Day by handing out poppy flowers made out of paper in hopes of receiving a donation.
Those funds are used then year-long because of these little paper poppies that have a strong story behind them themselves. Then we can help and support the veterans in this community. Our homeless ones, our needy ones, somebody trying to get a fresh start.
The red poppy flower is a symbol of sacrifice in lives in all wars. This is just one of the many ways fallen heroes are being honored this Memorial Day weekend. Earlier, our Coast Life team hit the streets of Milton to see what locals plan to do over the holiday weekend.
Oh, it's my birthday, so we're going to go out for dinner and we're going to be on the beach and do some fishing.
Well, I'm doing a little fishing now, grill out, have some fun.
Actually going to go to my sister's for a barbecue.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Be with the family and a new baby.
Maryland State Police are urging drivers to stay safe and drive responsibly. Troopers across all 23 barracks will conduct statewide saturation patrols to target impaired, distracted, and aggressive driving. Enforcement will be active on major routes like US 50, 13, and 301 with a focus on the Eastern Shore. A North Carolina woman has spent decades making sure no veteran's grave is forgotten. Jan Mills has been placing flags on veterans' graves for 30 years, a tradition that started when she was a Cub Scout leader. One Memorial Day at Spring Hope Cemetery, members of the American Legion saw her working alone and offered to help. Since then, it's become a family tradition. Mills and her grandchildren, along with volunteers, now visit multiple cemeteries, searching for graves without flags and making sure no veteran is left behind. And this brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know, how are you spending Memorial Day weekend? Let's take a look at the updated results from our 6 p.m. news hour. So far, majority 72% say staying home, with 20% saying honor deceased military. If you haven't voted yet, you can still vote on CoastTV.com or on our mobile app. New pavement markings are causing confusion at one Sussex County intersection. DelDOT painted this symbol on your screen at all 4 entrances to the Georgetown Circle this week. DelDOT says it's a fishhook arrow designed to guide drivers entering a roundabout, but many people say it's confusing and looks like it's telling drivers to head in the wrong direction. State Senator Brian Pettyjohn says he immediately took action to have these markings removed.
This isn't something that people around here have seen and are used to, and I was concerned that it would cause confusion and possible some accidents here.
Senator Pettyjohn says he reached out to Delaware Secretary of Transportation, urging the department to remove the markings. Now these faded outlines are all that remain. Pettyjohn says, according to DelDOT, the markings are going to be replaced with right turn arrows in Georgetown. We have an update on a story you first saw here on Coast TV News at 6. We now know the name of the man killed in a deadly accident earlier this week, according to Delaware State Police. 19-year-old Charles Williamson from Dagsboro was killed in a two-car crash Tuesday night. Troopers say Charles was driving a Lincoln and heading west on Hollyville Road when he crossed into the east lane and hit a Cadillac. The 52-year-old woman and her passenger in the Cadillac were taken to a hospital, both with life-threatening injuries. And there was a crash in the area of Coastal Highway and 137th Street today around 9 a.m. As we take a look from our Coast Copter, police tells us that 3 cars and a box truck were involved. No serious injuries were reported. Several trees were hit during the crash. A hazmat team was called because one of the vehicles were leaking gas. The cause of the crash is still under investigation in Ocean City. The Trump administration's showdown with Harvard University is continuing to escalate. Today, a federal judge temporarily halted the government's ban on Harvard's ability to enroll international students after Harvard filed a lawsuit. Michael Yoshida has the story.
A federal judge siding with Harvard University Friday in its fight with the Trump administration, temporarily halting a federal ban on the school's ability to enroll international students.
This is extortion. It's a vendetta using all powers of the government because of a political argument with Harvard.
On Thursday, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem removed the university's student and exchange visitor certification, saying Harvard refused to turn over conduct records of foreign students as requested last month.
Harvard brought these consequences upon themselves.
More than a quarter of students are impacted.
We are being used essentially as poker chips in a battle between the White House and Harvard, and it feels honestly very dehumanizing.
Trump and university officials have been locked in conflict for months, battling over federal research funds as well as the school's tax-exempt status. The White House demanding changes to campus programming, policies, hiring, and admissions to root out on-campus anti-Semitism and eliminating what it calls racist diversity, equity, and inclusion practices.
Harvard's going to have to change its ways.
Harvard has complied with some requests and did acknowledge anti-Semitism on its campus. Still, it's fiercely defended its academic independence, calling this latest act by the administration a clear retaliation for Harvard's exercising its First Amendment rights to reject the government's demands to control Harvard's governance, curriculum, and the ideology of its faculty and students. In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
A vote for a change. Tomorrow, Bethany locals have a decision to make about an upgrade to the town's water system.
Here's a look at your Bay forecast for Cambridge, 70 to 72 to 73. But notice no rain for your holiday weekend. More on your forecast coming up in 60 seconds. Reveling in the Pacers' victory, looking for stuff. Let's take a look right now what's happening. Our Irish Eyes camera in Lewis, we're at 59 degrees right now. Skies are clearing out very nicely for us, and we're going to stay clear going into the rest of the weekend. Now, you should get happy about the forecast, and I'm happy with you because I want to enjoy it too. We have one little problem. It's going to be the winds. The winds are going to make it a little uncomfortable, particularly Saturday. But as far as tonight is concerned, we dropped to 55 degrees without really a problem. Now, that's in Lewis. Now, in other areas, we're at 58 degrees, majority of our locations. But the winds out of the northwest. First of all, because it's coming out of the northwest, it's a colder, drier wind. So it's not as comfortable as, let's say, a wind coming out of the south. So it's not going to add to the ambiance of comfortability. And we also have gusty winds along the beaches from Dewey Beach to Ocean View to Fenwick Island. We also have very gusty winds along the coast for us throughout Cambridge as well as Winona. And live radar is looking very clear for right now. We had a trough that was across our neck of the woods. It's now drifted on out into deeper season, falling apart. We have rain and stuff that throughout a portion of the northeast, but we are just simply not close enough to be bothered with that. Isn't that convenient? Clear skies for tonight. We drop down to the lower 50s. And then for our storyline for Saturday, sun and clouds, breezy Saturday, as I've been saying over and over again. Some clouds with actually temperatures in the 60s and 70s. But by Memorial Day, the actual Monday of Memorial Day, looking even better. Temperatures in the low 70s, but staying dry. And the winds are going to start to shift a bit for us. You see, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we have high pressure in place, but we have that coming out of a cooler area, cool to our north, but much warmer to our south. We take a look at our expectations for tomorrow. 70 in Seaford, 72 Georgetown, 72 Millsboro. We're looking for 72 in Vienna for the high, and we should warm to about 72 degrees Ocean City. Here is a look at what we're expecting up on the coast. Just in case you're visiting us, we welcome you to our coast. Glad to see you guys here. But notice we're at 69 to 71, 75 if you're all the way down in Chincoteague. But the winds are going to be out of the west and the northwest at about 19 to near 20 miles per hour. Please keep that in mind as you're making your plans to go out and enjoy the beach life. Now, temperature-wise, we're going to bounce back and forth into the 50s for the morning time, 60 to 70s in the afternoon. Cloudy by the time we get to Monday morning. But look at these winds, man, knifing out of the northwest until Sunday, and even going into Monday, still coming out of the northwest. Finally, here's a look at the 7-day forecast. 70 to 72 to 73, that seems like a pretty good bargain. Almost sounds like a Price is Right game. But we go all the way up to 74 before we bottom out on Wednesday with wet weather and 68.
Thank you, Paul. Some of our viewers might remember this story back in January. Bethany Beach announced that some water in the town was showing up brown. Bethany officials said that is a result of a 30-year-old water clarifier they were stuck with. Well, tomorrow, people who live in Bethany have an opportunity to change that with a vote. The ballots people cast will determine if Bethany can take a $3.9 million loan from the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund. That money would needed to be complete a new clarifier and other water system upgrades. One Bethany local knows which way he is leaning.
I would vote for it. I want clean water. Everybody wants clean water.
The town says the vote will be held from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the town meeting room inside the town hall. Thousands of birds were rescued from a shipping mishap in Delaware now have a new home. Earlier this month, nearly 12,000 were stranded birds at a distribution center. The First State Animal Center and SPCA says all the survivors that were brought to them were adopted. The group says it has still not reached an agreement on fair compensation from the Delaware Department of Ag for caring for the overwhelming amount of birds. It plans to end its agreement with the department in June, first if an agreement cannot be reached. Delaware state parks are rolling out a reservation system for surf, fishing, drive-on beach access starting tomorrow, May 24th. Reservations will be required on weekends and holidays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. through Labor Day and will open weekly on a first-come, first-served basis. As Delaware beaches fill up this Memorial Day weekend, it's not just people flocking to the coast. The DuPont Nature Center held its first public presentation of the season today, educating visitors and local about the ancient horseshoe crabs, and shorebirds returning to the shoreline. Officials say public awareness is key to preserving these vital and long-surviving species. Delmarva Hospital grades what this new survey took into account next.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
We now turn to health news. A new report published this month reveals mixed results when it comes to hospital safety here on Delmarva. The report, created by Leapfrog Group, uses data from hospital surveys and other sources to grade eligible hospitals twice a year on how well they keep their patients safe. Safety grades are determined by more than 30 measures: infection, safety, prevention practices, surgical outcomes, and staffing. 5 hospitals on Delmarva received A's in this report. On your screen now is a map of the hospitals: Tidal Health, Nanticoke Peninsula, Regional, Atlantic General, and both Christiana Care hospitals upstate. And as you can see right now on CoastTV.com, we have an article detailing all of this data. There's lots of numbers, so we have created interactive graphs and charts to look at different issues for each hospital on Delmarva to provide clear look into each safety rating. Again, this full interactive article can be found right now on CoastTV.com. A new bill aimed at supporting Delaware's 70,000 veterans passed the House unanimously earlier this week. House Bill 1, sponsored by Representative Carson, would create a cabinet-level Department of Veteran Affairs led by a secretary. Supporters say it would streamline access to health care, housing, and benefits. The bill heads to a Senate committee June 10th with a possible floor vote on June 12th. An empty lot soon may be home to a Royal Farms if engineers can get an extension. But first, it's Friday, so we have a lot of cool things for you to do this weekend. That's up next.
Here's a look at your golf forecast. We're going to have much clearer skies this time around, so look for good conditions. A little bit breezy on Saturday morning, but still sun and clouds in 70.
It's a big weekend for beach trips and barbecues, the unofficial start to summer. But don't forget, Memorial Day is also a time to remember those who gave their lives serving our country. Coast TV's Christina DiRobertis shows us meaningful ways to honor them and enjoy the long weekend.
Pay tribute to those who made the ultimate sacrifice at a few locations this Memorial Day weekend. In Millsboro, a ceremony will be held at the Veterans Cemetery Sunday at 10 a.m. Then on Sunday at 1 p.m., a solemn salute at the Firefighter Memorial on the Ocean City Boardwalk with a wreath laying and flyover. And at 1:30, a Memorial Day ceremony on the Georgetown Circle. It will be led by members of the National Guard. Also happening this weekend, the 10th annual Poseidon Festival returns to Bethany Beach with pirates and mermaids all weekend long, and Zelke's will host its first ever beach ball drop at noon Saturday to ring in the unofficial start to summer. For more details, just visit coasttv.com and click on Cool Things to Do.
In sports news, Indianapolis Colts owner and CEO Jim Irsay has died at the age of 65. The team says he died peacefully in his sleep on Wednesday. In 1997, Irsay became the sole owner after his father died, while under his ownership, the Colts became the Super Bowl champions in 2007. Staying in sports news, the WNBA is looking into reports of racial slurs made by fans toward Angel Reese during a game over the weekend. So far, there's no confirmation when the alleged incident happened during Saturday's games between Reese's Chicago Sky at the Indiana Fever. The Women's National Basketball Players Association says it is aware of the situation and is backing the WNBA's probe. Take a look at the map on your screen now. You can see the icon at 100 Milton Ellendale Highway. That's where a new Royal Farms is supposed to go. But just when that project will move forward, it is now up in the air. This is the same area, this time from an aerial view. And as you can see, nothing has been built yet. The project manager for the Royal Farms is looking for a one-year extension of their final site plans. At some point in the future, the land you just saw will be a Royal Farms gas station. For people familiar with Milton, you may have been even able to see the Food Lion in the distance. Developers say they're working on coordinating agreements with DelDOT and another nearby project related to the intersection improvements. And given all of the work that still needs to be done, they're asking for a one-year extension to their current plan.
These schematics show plans for something called Cedar Creek Business Park, which eventually will be home to office space and other things, including a new Royal Farms gas station. Erin Jones has watched as Milton continues to grow, and she is conflicted about it.
I am not absolutely for it, but I'm not against it either. I think it's just a part of growth in a small town. I love Milton. I love the sweet town that it is, and I hope we're able to maintain that with the growth here.
While the new Royal Farms has the green light to move forward, when that will happen is still up in the air. Tonight, the engineers are headed to Milton's Planning and Zoning Commission to ask for an extension of the final site plan approval. This would actually be the second time. A letter on behalf of the engineers cites a host of reasons for the extension request, coordinating agreements with the DelDOT and with a nearby project related to the intersection improvements. They also say they've been asked for additional utility plan updates to sewer designs. And the owner is still in negotiations with potential contractors. While progress is put on hold, some locals say they need more options to fill up their tank.
There could be one or two more, because a lot of the gas stations, like the Quick Stop and all that, is always overrun with cars when you need to get gas.
The current extension ends on June 5th. If the one-year extension is not approved, they will have to start back at square one with the preliminary permitting process.
After the break here on Coast TV News at 11, as we take a look into Salisbury, we have a final check on your forecast. Good music, good food, and good company. That was the theme at Salisbury Day Center today. Shady Pines hosted their annual senior prom. Officials say attendees range from 16 up into their 60s. The event gives senior citizens and those with medical needs a chance to experience a prom night.
I didn't go to prom. I would have liked to have gone. I'm old enough. Brandon's not saying anything. Okay, anyway, 58 degrees right now. Nobody would go with me. 55 actually, and mostly clear skies. Our umbrella giveaway winner, Margaret Delaney of Lewis. Congratulations, Paul Davis Restoration Home Remodeling. Actually, truthfully, I missed prom because I made the finals in tennis for state championship. That was why I missed it. Anyway, in case you wanted to know. Call 443-880-9100. Your forecast is just a call away. Sponsored by the law offices of Brockstead, Mandalis, and Federico. And finally, here's a look at your 10-day forecast. 70 on Saturday, 72 on Sunday, 73 on Monday, and no rain.
The chief, I'm sure it wouldn't have been hard to get you a date. Thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 11. For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is up next. We'll see you tomorrow night for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great night.